On Global TV News Prime, organized labor vows to reject 100,000 naira minimum wage, may resume strike. Federal government moves to sanction hospitals rejecting emergency patients. On the foreign scene, aircraft carrying Malawi vice president goes missing. And in sports, Super Eagles eye first win in 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agumofwebe. The organized labor says it will not accept a 62,000 naira or a 100,000 naira starvation wage as the minimum wage for Nigerian workers. It has insisted on 250,000 naira being its latest demand at the last meeting of the Tripartite Committee on Minimum Wage as the living wage for an average Nigerian worker. This was made known by Chris Onyeka, Assistant General Secretary of the Nigeria Labour Congress, who said the one-week grace period given to the federal government last Tuesday, June 4, 2024, would expire by the midnight of Tuesday, June 11, 2024. The federal government says this year's Democracy Day celebration will kick off with a symposium on Tuesday, June 11, 2024. A statement by Director of Information and Public Relations in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Abdulkarim Adeoye, noted that the symposium is scheduled to hold at the State House Conference Center inside the presidential villa. Nigerians have called on the federal government to adopt bold strategies in providing democratic benefits. Global TV correspondent, we interviewed citizens on the forthcoming Democracy Day, reports that Nigerians expressed mixed reactions over the democratic system in the country. Queen Agaba has details.
Since gaining independence, Nigeria has seen a journey filled with challenges and triumphs in its democratic process. Speaking on the dividends of democracy, Nigerians lament the harsh reality.
I think the government should look into some major sector which will affect the ordinary Nigerians' life. You know, people are really suffering, and we need a listening government that can put ourselves in the shoes of the ordinary Nigerians.
This regime is somehow. We don't have, there's no dividends, there's nothing we can show off that, okay, this democracy, this regime, we have, I think there is, at least there is a bit better than the former. There is hunger in the land, one. Two, you can't even voice out anything. There's nothing you can voice out concerning this regime.
Thank God for democracy, but are we really enjoying dividends of democracy? The answer is no. What are the evidence of democracy? Good governance, good policy, access to education, infrastructure, the basic social amenities. Are any of them available? Electricity zero, road network, people are building roads for themselves. So where is the evidence of democracy?
While it is clear that there's hope and belief in the principles of democracy, some say there are still significant challenges that need to be addressed.
I would like to advise Mr. President to be radical in his approach in the delivery of democratic dividends, particularly to the downtrodden. You know, the hardship is much in the land. So I want Mr. President to put more effort in areas of food security particularly.
Speaking on democracy and the gains recorded so far, Nigerians have called on the federal government to be radical in its approach in the delivery of democratic dividends and to focus on critical sectors that will help mitigate the effect of the current hardship experienced.
Thank you, Queen Agaba. The correspondent chapel of the Kano State Council of the Nigerian Union of Journalists has decided to boycott all activities related to the Kano State government. This was contained in a statement issued by Aminu Garko, who is the chairman of correspondence of the union in Kano State. The decision was reportedly taken in response to the alleged persistent and unacceptable maltreatment of members of the chapel in the state by the government and its agents while discharging their primary assignments. The House of Representatives has proposed to make a single tenure of 6 years for presidents and governors and moved to create the office of 2 vice presidents from the southern and northern parts of Nigeria. The 6 bills, which have passed through the first reading on the floor of the House, are sponsored by 35 members of the Green Chambers. Speaking to journalists during a press conference in Abuja, spokesperson of the 35 lawmakers, Ikenga Ogonchere, representing Idiato North-South Federal Constituency, said the bills, if passed into law, will reduce government spending and wastage, efficiency in governance, and national stability by providing a single term of 6 years for the presidents and governors. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has predicted sunny and cloudy weather to Wednesday across the country. The agency's weather outlook released in Abuja predicted sunny skies over the northern region on Monday throughout the forecast period. He stated that sunny conditions with patches of clouds are expected over the north-central region throughout the forecast period. The National Board for Technical Education has introduced a mandatory skills qualification as a graduation requirement for all newly reviewed national diploma and higher national diploma curricula. The board says the introduction is in line with global trends, especially as skill acquisition is now central to the training of youths in polytechnics. This is disclosed in a statement by the board's head of media, Fatima Abubakar, in Abuja. Abubakar said diploma holders will now graduate with the National Skills Qualification or its equivalent as an additional certification. The Northern Elders Forum has called on the federal government to set up a National Pastoralist Commission to protect the interests of Nigerian herdsmen. A statement issued by its Director of Publicity and Advocacy, Abdulaziz Suleiman, says the forum expressed its position while contributing to the ongoing debates on the proposed law to phase out open grazing and establish ranching agencies, a legislation that sparked conflicting views among stakeholders in the country. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has underscored the importance of professionalism and competence among election personnel for the success of elections. Professor Yakubu conveyed this in an address honoring the former Director General of the Electoral Institute, late Professor Abubakar Momo, in Abuja ahead of Edo and Ondo off-cycle governorship elections scheduled for September 21 and November 16, 2024, respectively. INEC chairman noted that professionalism is essential for maintaining the integrity of the democratic process and ensuring voter confidence, which in turn affects voter participation and turnouts. The Federal Capital Territory Police Command, in a joint cooperation with other security forces, says it has raided kidnappers' camps on the borders of Abuja. The command spokesperson, SP Josephine Ade, disclosed this in a statement posted on X. The statement says the operatives of the FCT Police Command, in synergy with the Special Forces of Guards Brigade and DSS Hunters in a continued effort against criminality in FCT, stormed some identified kidnappers' camps at Gidon Dogo and Kwaiti Forests, Kaduna State, bordering the FCT, trailed and arrested 4 suspects. The federal government has threatened to go after the management of any hospital that refuses to attend to patients rushed into their facilities in an emergency. Minister of Women Affairs Uju Kennedy Ohaneye gave the warning at the Unlock Grants Award ceremony in Abuja. The growing concerns compelled the House of Representatives earlier this year to task the Federal Ministry of Health to take decisive action against hospitals and healthcare facilities that refuse to treat accident or gunshots patients without police reports. Plateau State Governor Caleb Mufwang has announced the lifting of the curfew imposed on the Mangu local government area in the state in January. The governor had imposed a 24-hour curfew on the local government after some bandits invaded the Poshut and Sabongari communities and killed 13 persons. Some residents were equally injured, while several houses were burnt during the attack. Amnesty International has put together a detailed report on the girls failed by authorities after escaping the Boko Haram captivity. The report, which entails lots of research and various interviews of about 126 persons, captures the lives of the girls and the situation of inadequate support and further sufferings as they attempt to rebuild their lives. Sharon Ajay has details for us.
Amnesty International is aimed at exposing injustice and seeking justice for what women go through in the hands of criminals. The Chair Board of Trustees, Amnesty International Nigeria, Awa Musa Rafsanjani, have showed his displeasure over the less attention given by authorities to women and girls who go through sufferings in the hands of criminals. He further called on all stakeholders to work together to push for women's human rights.
To welcome you to this very important but silent issue that our women and girls have been going through in the hand of terrorists and criminals in Nigeria. Unfortunately, not much attention has been given to these inhuman conditions that our girls and women find themselves in Nigeria.
While faulting the Nigerian authorities on the failure to protect its citizens, which led to the Chibok girls' adoption and various crimes, the director of Amnesty International Nigeria, Isa Sanusi, has urged that the government take a different tone in addressing the nation's insecurities.
The failure of the Nigerian authorities is the reason why we even have Boko Haram, is the reason why we have people displaced, is the reason why Boko Haram was capable of going into homes and abducting young girls as young as 8, 9, and subjecting them to sexual slavery. Our recommendation is that government should do something and rescue these girls.
Insecurity has been one of the biggest challenges in Nigeria, as it poses a significant threat to Nigerian stability and development as a nation. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you, Sharon. You're watching News Prime, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using our Global TVNG and other handles as you now see on your screen. When News Prime returns, South Africa's new parliament meets Friday to elect president. These and other stories coming your way shortly after this break. Do stay with us.
Welcome to Bayes University, Abuja, Nigeria, with a legacy of excellence and a vision for nurturing future leaders. Bayes University is in a league of its own. We're all about our people, processes, and technology.
Bayes is one of the highly rated universities in Nigeria in terms of product quality standards.
We don't just produce graduates, but groom people into employers of labor.
And it has made us understand that learning is all about three things. We learn, we unlearn, and we relearn.
Bayes University Hospital offers a range of specialized services equipped with the latest technology, manned by a team of trusted professionals. And now, our vision extends beyond our walls with the Baba Ahmed University in Kano following our lead. Join us at Bayes University and invest in your future today.
Bayes University is the institution that you will get the best value for money education in Nigeria.
Bayes University. Learn to live.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you
This is Global Television, bringing you a live broadcast of News Prime with Thuyi Agumofegbe. We appreciate you for staying with us. Now let's take it to the foreign scene, where an aircraft carrying Malawi's Vice President, Salus Chilima, and 9 others has gone missing. A statement from the President's office says the Malawi Defense Force aircraft had gone off radar after it left the capital, Lilongwe, on Monday morning. After being informed of the incident, Malawi's President Lazarus Chakwera cancelled his scheduled flight to the Bahamas. The President ordered a search and rescue operation after aviation officials were unable to contact the aircraft. Authorities have said South Africa's newly elected parliament will convene for the first time on Friday this week as political parties scramble to form a coalition after general elections produced no outright winner. Lawmakers in the 400-seat National Assembly will be called to appoint a speaker and start the process of electing the country's president, a task that could prove radically different than usual this year. For the first time since the advent of democracy in 1994, President Cyril Ramaphosa's African National Congress, the ANC, lost its absolute parliamentary majority in the May 29 votes. And still in Africa, Tanzanian authorities have expressed optimism that more Nigerians will invest in the country, saying it would create employment opportunities for citizens and boost the country's economy. Addressing newsmen in Lagos, Chairman, Board of Directors of Tanzania Investment Center, Dr. Benelith Mahenge, said the discussion that was held between the High Commission of the United Republic of Tanzania through the Tanzania Investment Center and members of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry was focused on investing profitably. Now let's take you deeper into business. The National Bureau of Statistics has stated in a new report that refined petroleum products and agricultural feed imports constituted the major items imported into Nigeria first quarter of 2024. This was as total imports for the first quarter of the current year stood at 12.64 trillion naira, representing a 39.65% increase from 9.05 trillion naira in the fourth quarter of 2023 and a 95.53% rise from 6.47 trillion naira in the first quarter of this year. The Bureau, in its foreign trade statistics, disclosed that the import of raw materials by manufacturers got up to 1.5 trillion naira. Citizens spent 920.54 billion naira to bring in agricultural goods. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has refuted media reports alleging that it inflated the fuel subsidy payments by 3.3 trillion naira. A report claimed that a forensic audit conducted by a global accounting firm, KPMG, had uncovered a significant discrepancy in the fuel subsidy claims made by the National Oil Company. According to the report, the audit revealed that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited had inflated its annual subsidy. The audit, which will cover 2015 to 2021, is aimed at verifying the authenticity of the subsidy claims. As compressed natural gas, CNG, is set to become a permanent fixture in Nigeria's energy landscape. The Program Director and Chief Executive of the Presidential CNG Initiative, also called PCNGI, Michael Oluwagbemi, says government's plan is to implement smart regulations that promote growth and provides clear and predictable rules for safe investments. He reaffirmed government's commitment to safety during the transition while reiterating its commitment to transitioning to cleaner, safer, and more reliable fuel options under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu. A two-day fair that connects producers and buyers of arts and crafts, body care, and general lifestyle items has been held in Abuja. The fair, organized by Inside Track, saw shoppers from different backgrounds come out in their number to collect items of interest. Fatima Umar was there for Global Television.
This is the 34th edition of the fair, and buyers were caught moving stand to stand in a bid to find their choice items. Those we spoke to highlighted their products and shared their opinions on the fair.
Well, but when you come to buying of art, it's a little bit slow. Because, I'm sorry to use the word, we here in Africa, no, not really Africa, Nigeria, we don't really value arts like that as we are expecting it to be. But I believe with time to come, it will pick up, because places like Lagos, yeah, they work on more on art.
So we have teas from around the world that are handcrafted by me, and we have like the chai karak, which is predominantly had around the Middle Eastern area, Qatar, Bahrain, you know, those places. And what the tea does depends on the spices that is infused in the teas.
This book vendor says Nigeria's reading culture has improved, a situation she believes has resulted in sales increase.
Sales is good. Yes, I sell a lot of books in this fair because some of the customers are expatriates, so they know the value of reading. Apart from that, the Nigerians too read. I think the people have gone back to reading. Yes, because in times past it wasn't like that, but it's beginning to look up these days because I've been selling books for a long time.
Organizers of Inside Track said 2 more editions of the fair have been scheduled to hold before the end of the year. Fatime Umar reporting for Global Television News.
Fatime Umar there bringing us a snapshot of the Abuja fair. Let's take it to entertainment now. Controversial social media critic Martin Osei, popularly known as Very Dark Man, has regained his freedom after spending over 2 weeks in detention. Osei was billed to be released 1 week after his arraignment by the police for cyber stalking and bullying on May 22, 2024. A viral video on X on Monday shows a Very Dark Man walking into his fans after he was set free. And in sports, a near-to-be tragedy struck the Nigerian Professional Football League over the weekend as Doma United FC players were reportedly involved in a road accident while returning to Gombe after a match. According to the report by PFL News via X, the incident occurred along the Makurdi-Lafia Road, leaving several players injured, though no lives were lost. Super Eagles Napoli striker Victor Osimhen has staved off competition from Victor Boniface, Robert Mizo of Bayelsa United, and Emeka Obiora of Eyimba to emerge the striker of the year and king of the pitch for the 3rd straight year, making him the first player to achieve these feats on the platform of the prestigious Nigeria Pitch Awards. Africa Women's Footballer of the Year, Asisat Oshoala, was voted the queen of the pitch ahead of Rashidat Sajubadi of Atletico Madrid. Femenino as Chiamaka Nandozie, the Paris FC goalkeeper. In a highly anticipated international fixture, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have unveiled their starting lineup for the clash against Benin Republic in the 4th round of the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Head coach Finidi George on Monday named Terem Murphy and Demola Lukman to spearhead the attack, while Victor Boniface has been placed on the bench. As we look away from football now, the Nigerian Olympic Committee, NOC, says the annual Olympic Day celebration will be held on June 29 across the country. The Olympic Day is a global event that commemorates the birth of the modern Olympic movement founded by Pierre de Coubertin in 1894. The Secretary General of the NOC, Babatunde Popola, says this year's celebration holds special significance as it precedes the highly anticipated Paris 2024 Olympic Games. As we end News Prime on Global Television, let's take a quick look at some of our top stories. Organized labor has vowed to reject 100,000 naira minimum wage and may resume strike. The federal government has moved to sanction hospitals rejecting emergency patients. On the foreign scene, we told you aircraft carrying Malawi vice president has been reported missing. And finally, in sports, Super Eagles said to be eyeing first win in 2026 World Cup qualifiers. And that's it on News Prime, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We'll Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms, and remember to use at Global TV NG and other handles as you now see showing on your screen. I'm Uyi Agbo Fwegbe saying we appreciate your time with us here on the news tonight. We'll see you again.